What up, lads?
Hello, friends. We are doing our all-out review. This is fighting for my pay-per-view of the year.
This didn't go too far. Oh my god. The mayhem, the horror,
The
agony.
violence.
Oh my god.
The murders.
ECW back.
Don't forget, though, they want the
Attitude
Era back.
But they don't want violence
without
back.
violence or women kissing women.
Right. Okay.
People are complaining about that, too.
This was a phenomenal pay-per-view.
It was so good.
Just amazing.
So good.
I think AEW is on a special run of pay-per-views.
They are.
Yeah, this was an incredible show, and there is a lot of matches that I think that you can make an argument for match of the night and match of the year contenders.
Yes. I don't have the brain capacity to always remember all the matches, but I know that of the year, to talk about that, I always forget one. Yeah, but there's definitely a lot of contenders in this pay-per-view.
And I've seen a lot of people argue that it's better than All In.
You know what? I think I agree. I
really
agree. Liked All In, but I do think All Out was better. And I kind of had a feeling the Dynamite after All In, because I was like, damn, they only had 3 matches announced. But I was like, damn, off the bat, this already feels like it's going to be a crazy good card. Yeah. And then it was. Yeah,
usually AEW does better when they are doing storylines for a long time in between pay-per-views. Yeah. They had such a short time, and they just crammed everything in, and it was just great.
I think they did, this year, I think they did a really good job at setting them up back to back with a twist right in the middle.
Yeah, they did do it. They set it up very well. Better going into All In, so that All Out made a ton of sense.
Yes, it was very easy, when after All In, with those 2 Dynamites, to fit in just enough to kind of twist everything to fit the new matches for All Out. They did really, really well. I was actually very impressed with the turnaround time we had for some of these. But one of the bigger stories for us as a podcast actually started off the card. MJF beats Garcia with a low blow. He did cheat. But he beats Garcia.
He's a piece of shit.
Garcia loses his fucking mind on MJF.
A great match. A great opener.
Match. It was a good match.
That I feel like not enough people are talking about because of everything else that ended
I think
up
so many other things somehow overshadowed it.
It did. I'm not even saying that it's even close to match of the night.
It was good, though. But you're right, though. It definitely didn't get talked about that much. I think because so much happened after.
But luckily, right after this, Garcia does get a little bit of his win back here.
Gets his lick back a little bit.
By doing the middle rope pile driver that they kept setting up for the entire match. Taking out MJF. Apparently, MJF's taking time off now.
He does kiss him.
He does kiss him. Yes.
And I have to say, there was no outrage for that. When Mariah had to go on Twitter and be like, guys, it's okay that women are kissing women because it's actually our choice now. Yeah. It's not written in the script. I'm saying I want to do this. Mina is saying I want to do this. Tony is okay. This is a thing. Yeah. There's no one's outraged that they're kissing each other.
That's true.
Just saying.
Yeah.
It was iconic, though. It was great.
This was great, but apparently,
if
it is to be believed, Garcia still has not signed with AEW.
Yeah, homie, I don't know. I thought the thought process was he wanted to secure a spot before he signed. Yeah. You can't get much higher up than dealing with Will Ospreay and MJF back to back.
Yeah. I think that's why they had MJF still win, but then Garcia still gets something out of it.
Yeah.
They are really building him up crazy for WWE if he leaves. They've built him up insane.
Yeah.
Very, very Jade Cargill-esque. But yeah, this was a really, really good match. I'm glad that Garcia got his moment. Still wish he won, but I understand why.
But I'm also okay with them continuing the feud and it going longer, and I think it will. I also think this is a good chance for MJF to have a little growth, my guy.
Yeah.
Because we've kind of pinpointed, I think the problem is that, so the Ospreay MJF issue on MJF's side was the American stuff. No one cares. It was stupid. No one liked that little gimmick thing. So then he kind of reverts back to standard MJF. But you've been doing standard MJF for a few years now.
Yeah.
And it's not the same gimmick. You can keep the same character for years, but you gotta, like, add something new. He's using the same, like, I'm sleeping with your mother jokes. And it's like, we've heard those 12 times. You gotta give us something new. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that this allows him for growth in that way. And then it allows Garcia to also grow more into that, like, main event kind of spot.
Yeah. My only worry is if MJF's taking time off, what does Garcia do next? My personal belief is something that happens later on in this show, and I hope that they end up doing that. But if not, a little worried about what happens for Garcia next.
So I guess we'll circle back to that.
Yes, we will.
Well, the next match, Young Bucks beat Claudio and Wheeler.
I feel like one of the more forgettable matches. It's still good.
Yeah,
still
was. It's crazy, but like that was the popcorn match. Like that fit as the second match.
Yeah. It was just kind of like okay. I did think that it would have been cool to have something happen here. You know, I was praying for Blackpool Combat Club to end up winning this match so that they unify the trios and the tag titles because I believe that would have helped AEW in the long run. Yeah. They didn't do that. Young Bucks just kind of win. I can't even remember. I'm sure they cheated. I can't even remember exactly what happens. Your Wheeler Yuta ends up losing. And this was not the last time that we'd see Blackpool Combat Club tonight.
No. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I think meshing, unifying the titles, I think that would be fine. I go a little back and forth because, like, I understand why people are kind of tired of seeing the Young Bucks in, like, the title scene. I get that. That's fair. But also, like, with the story that and the gimmick that they're doing right now, they kind of have to be, and I think it makes sense. So, like, I'm kind of okay with it. I just need FTR out of my face. I can't. I literally, like, I swear to God, I may not buy the next pay-per-view if they do Young Bucks FTR again. And I didn't start watching until 2022, and I'm sick of it. I can't imagine people who started in 2020.
Well, luckily, that won't happen.
Thank God.
Because someone's going to take out FTR.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Bristled young veterans.
Right. Okay. Well, the next match was actually one of our Match of the Year contenders, Ospreay and Pac.
God, that was third?
That was third.
That's crazy.
That was third.
Insane match here.
Yeah.
I mean,
crazy good match.
These guys are a perfect stylistic
they mesh.
Matchup.
They have, like, good chemistry.
Yeah. Two of Britain's best. And just, they went balls to the wall. Pac is arguably the best seller and the best bumper in professional wrestling.
Ospreay also gave, like, one of the promos of the year beforehand.
Yeah, the Ospreay
which was amazing. It was so fucking good. I like that they're using the history of the two of them to, like, build this up.
Yeah.
I don't think they're continuing this one, though.
No, I don't think so.
I think we're moving on, which is also could have come in
right.
Later.
A lot of this comes in
Maybe
later.
we should have started at the end.
Yeah.
But let's chat about this one. We want to talk about feminism. We want to talk about some badass bitches. Stat and Willow, arguably match of the night for some people.
I think it might have been.
I think it was. I think it depends on what you're looking for.
Exactly.
So if you are looking to be entertained, if you are looking to jump out of your fucking seat, if you are looking to, like, cringe and gasp, maybe like, oh my God, that's kind of fucking painful, this was your match of the night.
Well, I don't know, because if you're looking for something painful, might have been the main event.
This is fair too. But if you're looking for, like, technical wrestling, then it was probably the Danielson match because it's Danielson. But Tony said, you only get 15 minutes. And they said, that's all we need, bitch.
Yeah.
That's all we fucking need, Tony. We're going to show these men how to use 15 fucking minutes. Crazy.
That I think makes it so much more special. It's one of the best street fights I've ever seen.
Yeah,
just straight up.
Same.
If you loved, the ECW or you loved the Attitude Era hardcore matches, this is like peak prime example of it. And in such a short amount of time, I remember going, it was about 3 minutes in, I was like, they broke the announce table.
Yeah, we already did that
I was like,
so
damn.
quickly.
We quickly then go to Stat doing the swanton through the table, and her leg clips Willow in the head.
Yeah.
That I thought may have actually hurt Willow.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, we're like 5 or 6 minutes into this match.
Yeah.
Then they end up going to the ramp. It was like everything was structured so well.
Bro, as a woman, we got to talk about the tacks.
Oh,
she did the splits onto the tacks. Listen, as a woman, I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she continued. I don't know how she breathed after that. Every single woman on Twitter who watched that pay-per-view went to Twitter crying after that. Because
100%.
I can't even imagine. I
Yeah.
can't even, like, it didn't look like it hit, like, the worst spot,
I
if
don't
you
think
catch
it
my
did.
drift. But, like, still, like, your thighs like that are, like, I don't know, I'm assuming it is for men, but, like, for women, so fucking sensitive.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't.
It's when you really look at it might be the craziest spot of the entire night, and that's saying so much.
It's easily top 3 craziest of the night.
And there's some crazy ass
There's
spots
some crazy spots
in this entire show.
But I will say, I like Stat. I got nothing against Stat.
No.
I'm a Stat. I like Stat. That's
No.
fine.
Nope.
She
She's
gained
Willow.
so much of my respect with that move.
Nope.
Okay, you're gonna be that. Okay,
Nope.
well, I'm a woman and I have parts you don't, so I'm gonna say I respect it.
Don't care. She was mean to Willow. I'm a Willow Nightingale supporter.
So, do we think this feud's over?
I
I feel like it feels over.
No.
But I think it feels over to me because I feel like they haven't been, like, really putting a big spotlight on it anymore.
I'm gonna say no, because why? Just have another banger.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
They could.
Just have another banger.
They could.
I do love the R.I.P. New Jack chair that Stoke has in it, and then Stoke just runs off in fear.
Oh my god.
But I don't know. Like, I just don't know what's next for Stat and Willow, because I think that AEW is doing a really good job at getting multiple women into stories.
Yeah.
But there isn't. I just don't see a next step for Stat or Willow.
That's fair.
There's not a natural progression unless this is like Britt or Jamie or somebody like that, and they wrap up the Jamie Soraya feud relatively quickly.
Yeah. They have kind of thrown Willow into the conglomeration, so they could move Stat elsewhere and put Willow in a feud there.
It's true. I just don't know, because that would mean that she's feuding with the Learning Tree, and the Learning Tree doesn't have a woman, at least yet.
No, because probably no woman wants to be there.
It's fair.
We'll see on that one.
But the one thing I wanted to say about this is I really think that Willow should have, like, Wrestler of the Year discussions. She did the feud with Julia.
Yeah.
She did the feud with Mercedes.
Yeah.
She's done this feud with Stat.
Mm-hmm.
She's had amazing matches in all of that. And where there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, I don't know about Mercedes matches, blah, blah. She had a great match with Willow.
She did. That is fair.
And that's not me trying to take away from Mercedes. I think that's just me being like, you never have to worry about Willow.
You never miss with Willow.
You never miss with her. She's like Carmelo
She's
Hayes.
very reliable. Well, it's like what you said about Chelsea the other day. She's reliable.
Yeah, but
I think a banger.
But I think that in Willow's case, it's like she's not only reliable, but like she's also very, very capable of having match of the year consideration.
That's fair.
She's
fair.
She's just on top of her game, man.
Yeah. No, she is. She's having the best year of her career by far.
My favorite woman wrestler in AEW, I think.
Damn. Over Britt and Mercedes?
They were not the contenders. I think it would be probably Mariah and Tony.
All right. I mean, you do you. That's fine. Okay, so next was the 4-way.
Yes.
So this was Okada, Takeshita, Orange, and Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe really be in his bag.
Mark Briscoe is very good.
He is in his bag lately. He is in his comedy bag. He is in his stunts bag. He is thriving across the board, which has been super fun to watch. Orange is Orange.
Orange is great.
It's fine.
Once again, one of the reliable guys that could also have match of the year.
Yeah. I liked the Okada Takeshita tease, which is now kind of coming forth.
Yes.
On Dynamite. Okada retains. I think that makes total sense. But I think that we are seeing story progression in this match, which I think is really all we could have asked for out of it. Like, it's, I don't want to say 4 random guys, but it was, it's like tournaments to get in and, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not really storyline based. But I do think we're heading towards Okada Takeshita, which is going to be great.
Yeah.
And obviously the conglomeration has, like, their feuds going on. And they're super popular, mostly because of Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly's little bromance thing going on.
The thing I loved about this match is we got the first little piece of Takeshita Okada.
Yeah.
This match was to plant the seeds, and I love that Okada won.
Yeah.
Because I was really hoping that they didn't have Takeshita win, and it was like, Okada didn't get pinned for his title, so it's like he's not taking a loss, but they're going to take the title off of him. Takeshita should have his moment beating Okada.
Yeah.
It should be a lot bigger moment. I don't know if that's happening at
That's
Wrestle
what the
Dream.
women want.
I think that it should happen out of like a Wrestle Dream.
Yeah.
Or maybe even if they want to span it all the way to like World's End.
Yeah.
And I think that Takeshita should definitively beat Okada, and he is seen as like the next one up. And then he can defend that championship during the C2, which I think would be great. And I just saw somebody say something on TikTok that they were like, wow, I'm a huge Sammy Guevara fan. And they're like, wow, Sammy would be a perfect person for the C2. Like, he obviously is not going to win it or something, but like
he'd be a good
the Garcia spot that was last year.
Yeah, that's true. Next one, Mercedes Shida. Okay. Hear me out. I think my struggles with the Mercedes matches aren't necessarily even the quality of the match. I think what's continually sticking out to me now is the ending of the match.
Yes, that's the big thing.
They're continually weird to me. Like, for Mercedes Britt, like, Camille getting kicked out.
Yep.
And then Mercedes just beating Britt clean. No one comes in. Nothing happens. Which just very felt like, it feels anticlimactic.
Yeah.
And then kind of the same thing with Shida. It was just very, like, they did the spot where, like, Shida was thinking about cheating, and then she does it. And it's just, it feels almost like we're not putting a ton of effort into, like, the endings of the matches.
Yeah, it's genuinely, I think, confusing.
It is a little confusing. And it's not like...
Shida hits 3 finishers, and then Mercedes just kicks out and beats her.
Well, and it's not like I expected Mercedes and Shida to be, like, this huge, like, crazy feud or anything. Like, it's obviously very filler.
Yeah.
But I just expected a little bit more out of the match, I guess, itself.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good match, but I feel I'm used to, like, watching Mercedes and or Sasha Banks and being like, that was a fucking banger.
Yeah.
And just, like, the last couple matches, I feel like I'm leaving it more confused.
Yeah, exactly.
Than I am enjoying the match.
I think since she has won the title, the booking has been very confusing.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that they rushed her to be champion, which I didn't think was a bad call at all.
No.
But it was just like, wow, we didn't have a plan for her after the title win.
You got to have a plan in place.
It felt, they had this problem with Wardlow when he won the TNT Championship.
Yeah.
Like, they have had this problem when they win the title, and they're like, didn't think about what's
happening. And I was
next.
also a little upset because I'm like, why are we immediately going to Shida filler?
Yeah.
Why are we not continuing the Brit storyline?
There was fan outrage from that probably.
Well, that probably.
But
didn't
also,
help,
like, that would have been perfect for
like,
going, all right, we gave a dud at All In. Let's kill it at All Out.
But not just that, but, like, what's fucking annoying about that is, like, there was outrage for, like, maybe a week about that match. And then, literally, after that, everybody was like, okay, it wasn't actually, like, that bad.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, now, like, Tony cut it because you people fucking lost your mind. And now you're backtracking.
Yeah.
And now we lost the whole fucking feud.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's just so
but also,
frustrating.
It's so weird because it's like, where was that feud going after Britt loses clean and they kick out Camille?
That is
we're
a
waiting
good point.
We're waiting for the Money Corporation or Money whatever it is. We're waiting for somebody to come in.
The faction.
Is that going to be the Renegade Twins? Is that going to be Ty and Anna Jay? Is that going to be somebody? And to just make it a little bit more interesting and to make this make sense, and nothing's making sense. It's just she's winning clean, and it's like, all right, fine. If you're just gonna make her an awesome heel that just wins clean, bill her as heel Will Ospreay, and that's fine. To just have the, but then also like give that the same time as Ospreay, where you're giving that a 25-30 minute banger.
Yeah.
And they're not getting either, and I don't know. It's just a very weird spot for her right now.
It almost kind of feels like I wonder if Mercedes is like picking her opponents, and they're just trying to make it work.
Maybe. I don't know.
Which would be dumb to kind of just like do it like that. But like I can't think of like, I guess I'm not seeing the vision. I'm not seeing like where we're going or what we're doing. I guess is like my frustration.
I don't know what the vision is. Genuinely.
But a different vision that got killed for me, along with my hopes and dreams and sanity. Bryan Danielson beat Jack Perry.
Beat Jack Perry. Jack Perry loses in a great match. Let me put over Jack Perry for a second.
Actually, he's been getting a ton of praise, and it makes me really happy.
He should, because it was awesome. I think that there was people that were like, the knee?
Yeah, the sell.
No one sold Bryan's knee better than Jack Perry.
I genuinely don't know how he did it, because
it defies space and time.
He like jumped up in the middle of the ring and flew to like all the way to the rope.
And it's not
I don't know how he did it.
It's not like he pushes himself.
No.
He just goes from here to here. He just moves sideways. I don't know how he had his body do that.
No, because of course, I'm going on Twitter. I'm seeing everybody like, oh my God, this was so good. Jack Perry killed it. This was the best sell for Danielson's running knee ever. And I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then like the video comes up with it, and I watch it again. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm like, actually, wait, how did he do that?
Yeah.
Like, how did he physically? I don't understand how he did that.
The sell after, because he didn't lose on that sell. The sell after where he flips.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal as well.
That too. And I like that it kind of ended the way that it did, where he just is kind of like, it's not happening, and just does like the self-sacrifice. He's like, I'm going to take it. I'm going to go out like a badass. And he does. It's my scapegoat.
His story is very
so
interesting
good.
right now.
So. I couldn't be happier. I am absolutely thriving with Jack Perry.
Quite literally sacrificing. It's very interesting.
The Bucks do try to interfere.
Yes.
Blackpool Combat Club come out.
Yes.
Which apparently includes Pac now.
Yes, officially. Since they won the trios titles.
They come out to kind of combat that. The ending happens. Danielson wins. And then Danielson almost dies.
So we see them, and even before that, they take out the Elite. Then Christian comes out with the Patriarchy.
I forgot about that bitch. Yeah.
The Patriarchy.
Nick Wayne looking like a douchebag.
And then we see Blackpool Combat Club face off with them. They back away, and then the camera is just pausing way too long.
It
in the
is,
ring.
but I'm gonna pause you really quickly. Anthony Khan, if you love me, if you care about me as a person, I need you to have Nick Wayne try to step up to John Moxley. Please.
I'd be okay with that.
I was praying for it. When they lined up like that, I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's Nick to Mox? Kill him. Get him. Beat that child right now. Please. He's 18. 19? The hell is he? He's legal, is the point, okay? The point is, he's legal for a beating. Do it, okay? Anyway. And then it pauses on the Mr. Clean twins, Claudio and Mox.
Yes.
And we sense a problem occurring.
And we get a Claudio uppercut that then Danielson just sits there shocked.
It was to Danielson.
Yeah.
Just point that out.
Yeah, to Danielson.
Yeah. It's funny because Danielson's face was my face.
Yeah. I think that was everyone was just like, what?
I was like, relatable.
And then John Moxley gets a plastic bag and attempts to suffocate Bryan Danielson while Wheeler Yuta is being held by Pac and is crying.
He's like, no!
Give him the Oscar. Give Wheeler Yuta the Oscar.
Oh my God. This was like the night for my boys. Because Wheeler, my little chipmunk, got so much credit for this. His acting was amazing.
It
was so good. Even to the point, like, at the end of it, I don't know if you saw it, but I saw people talking about it, where, like, he kind of turns to his left and he's like, Claudio. And his, like, you see his, like, face break. And I'm like, oh, my God. And then Claudio goes like this to him, and that's when I was like, don't fucking put your hands on my chipmunk, okay? We'll fucking fight, okay? I will chop off your big-ass fucking hands, all right?
Chipmunk.
Yeah, don't touch my chipmunk. I need more information, okay? We're recording this Friday afterwards, so, like, we saw Dynamite. We didn't get much more information outside of, like, Mox just wants, like, a title shot against Danielson, so now he's fighting Darby. That's all we got. Like, I'm not we still don't know who they're, like, going after. We like, when they're like, oh, this isn't your company anymore. Like, we don't know what's happening.
I think Mox's promo made a lot of sense where he is saying that they tried Danielson's way. They tried being the good guys.
Like, to who?
They tried. What do you mean?
Like
Blackpool
good
Combat
guys
Club.
To who?
Blackpool Combat Club were like, they were fighting the bad guys. They were fighting against all of the authority and everything. And I think Mox is like, we're done.
I think that's where I'm confused.
Like, they feuded against the elite.
Authority?
They feuded against the elite.
Yeah, but then why is Mox being nice to Jack?
I don't know if he believes Jack's evil. That's my theory on it. Is that he doesn't believe that Jack is.
He thinks Jack's just
guy.
like.
And also,
on a run?
Also, I wonder, like, okay, we're going into like theory territory here that I've been thinking about.
Let's do it.
But I think that Mox, it goes a little bit into like the CM Punk. It goes into a little bit of the breaking the fourth wall.
Oh, because Mox was like CM Punk fucking sucks. You were right the whole time.
Not necessarily.
Oh.
I think that it's him going.
It's
him going. You stepped up to him. I respect that.
Oh, okay. I see your point.
And he's like, you're not gonna do the little egotistical, like back and forth, being passive aggressive, something that Tony Khan would also do, like not handling his shit.
Yeah.
And I think that he wants to get people that handle their shit, isn't fucking around.
Okay.
And even Danielson, he's very passive aggressive. He's very, he's very like, oh well, I'm gonna retire, and I think that he's like, oh well, we were building something here. You didn't just go out right and tell me.
Yeah.
I think that maybe a part of the story is him being like, you should have just told me that you were retiring.
Yeah.
Like, but you didn't. You weren't straight up. And he just wants people that were straight up, that they know who they are.
That's why he respects Darby.
That's why he respects Darby. Exactly.
Darby's very much like that.
Just a very I am what I am type person.
Yeah.
I think that maybe is why he respects Jack, and he doesn't respect the Young Bucks.
That's fair. I do like the layers that are kind of being involved into this. Like, it's like they're turning on Danielson, but Wheeler's on Danielson's side, but he's fighting with the Elite, but he likes Jack Perry, and like he wants Darby's thing, but he's respects Darby. There's a lot of layers going on right now.
I think that may be another reason why they didn't tell Wheeler. Wheeler isn't a wrestler that knows himself like that. He's not a concrete character that will just like, for lack of a better term.
He's not like a veteran like they are.
But he's also like, he's not going to take the ball. You know what I mean? He's just very like okay with being in the middle.
He's more of like
and Mox is like, I need something more out of you, bro.
He's not really a leader of the group.
Right, I need you to play quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that Pac is a guy that and even Pac, what did he say?
Bro,
he was like,
Pac just fucking got here and stole Wheeler's spot.
Fair.
Like, go home.
I think, but even Pac, what did he say? He said something like, we're done being like lazy or so. He said something on the promo that I was listening to of being basically like, we're done playing the games. We're just going to go take it. The prophecy has now been fulfilled, and I think that they're going to take guys that are just who they are.
Interesting. Okay. So that kind of leads me to actually like a fan follower question that was asked when I said we were going to record a review. So somebody said, well, what will Yuta's role be? First was the first half of it, but the other half of it was thoughts on running the suffocation angle on the pay-per-view, but then refusing to put it online when you put it on the pay-per-view. So as far as Yuta's role, we kind of talked about that a little bit. I think it's going to be kind of like Team Danielson Good Guys. And I have seen people say, you said, what is MJF going to do? Or Garcia going to do while MJF is out? Yeah. Garcia would be a good person for Danielson to kind of mentor in that group.
I think it's almost 100%. So, another thing that I kind of like about all of this is you're almost seeing like Blackpool Combat Club Civil War.
Yeah.
You're going to see him like guys, obviously like Claudio and Pac, which make a ton of sense. You're going to see him like the Darby Allins, the Jack Perrys. Yeah. That's his recruiting.
Yeah.
Who is the Danielson kids? For lack of a better term. It's going to be Wheeler Yuta. It's going to be Daniel Garcia. If they add more, it's going to be Lee Moriarty. It's going to be people like that. It's kind of
like, I was going to say, it's the technical wrestlers, but like Mox wants the guys like with a fucking attitude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that he's like, oh, cool. So you're leaving us, and you're leaving everything that we were building?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to build it the way I want to now.
Yeah.
Now I get to be the leader, and this is all my ideas.
I like that.
And I think that it's going to be, it's going to be like a greasers versus Soch outsiders, type story.
Yeah.
I think that that's the way that they go. Daniel Garcia is absolutely perfect person to be placed into this.
Yeah.
And if they end up adding more, I do think that it would be really cool to add in a
Imagine our boys team up.
I think
Garcia
it's
and Yuta. Yuta.
Yeah.
I do that way too often. I combine them. Yuta. I'm gonna call him Yuta now.
Yeah, you know what? That's not bad.
It's fine.
And I think that they should add in a woman.
Yes.
I would love to see somebody like Willow Nightingale.
Ooh, that's a good one.
But I could also see, I know you're going to hate this, but Serena Deeb.
I mean, it kind of matches
the technical,
Marina, though. Like, really good technical wrestler, but, like, nothing else going on.
But another person I think that may be underrated for this, and I want to say I made a video on this. I hope I did. I can't remember all the videos I make at this point. Red Velvet. Red Velvet's been trained by Bryan Danielson. She currently has the ROH TV Championship, and I think that could be an underrated ROH TV title match against Marina.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
thought of it now because I wasn't thinking about it. But even if they decided to add somebody in, like an Athena or a Billy Starks, that could be crazy.
That would actually be a really cool way for Athena to kind of move to
That would
AEW
be
rather than Ring
crazy.
of Honor.
I mean, imagine they're like, well, it's still, 3-on-4.
Yeah.
Who do you have?
Yeah.
And then just Athena
Well,
pops
because it's
up.
also got to be a woman who can take on men, because Marina's taken on men. She's
true.
wrestling
That's a really
men.
good point.
So, but somebody like Athena,
Athena, yeah.
she kick your ass no matter what gender you
Athena,
are.
Athena versus Pac. Sign me up.
Yeah, no, I'm available.
Billy Starks as well is
She
very.
just like I can't see her on like Dynamite wrestling men because she's a kid to me.
Yeah, she is.
She's a
Yeah.
child. She's little.
Yeah.
Somebody like Athena though, who's got like the muscle and like that badass, crazy wrestler technique, attitude, all that stuff in one crazy, amazing package. Her, I could see doing
Yeah,
it.
it would
I
be
could
really
even
cool.
see Serena Deeb because I think
Yeah.
she's very similar to Marina for me. I just think Billy would be. I would be like, you're hurting a child, whereas Nick Wayne, you can hurt that child.
Right,
Billy
yeah.
Starks, don't touch that child. You
Right.
know, so a little bit of a mix there.
But I'm very, very excited for this feud. I think
Me
it's going to
too.
be awesome. I'm very
Mhm.
interested to see where exactly Darby Allin's going to be in this feud.
yeah,
Because it feels like Darby's not rocking with Mox.
he's definitely not.
But
rocking
Mox
Mox.
told
He asked
Darby
if he was drinking
doesn't-
again.
Yeah, Mox
It was
told
crazy
Darby
line.
that he doesn't have a lot of time to explain.
Which also was weird. He said it like 3 times, and everybody was like, "Do you know how long the segment took? You could have explained it in that time frame."
I think what he's saying is that it's going to be something to do with Danielson's retirement. Like
Probably.
he doesn't have a lot of time, and I think that
He wants to like get to Danielson.
he
before
wants to
it's
get
done.
to Danielson before he retires. But personally, if we can go a little bit more into it, I think
Okay.
that Darby is beating Mox at Grand Slam.
I do too. A lot of people are saying no. I think he is.
Right, I know, I've seen most people say no. I made a video about it. And everyone's like, nah, that doesn't make sense for Darby to then give up the spot and then still win. But I think that he's retiring Danielson at Wrestle Dream.
But one, he's not really giving up the spot. He's just saying, "All right, I'm down for a fight because you
Yeah.
pissed me off." For one, but two,
he did give up the title shot for Grand Slam because he had the title shot for Grand Slam. Now he's facing Mox for the number one contendership
that's
shot
fair.
that he already has.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah, at Grand Slam. But I think that he's retiring Danielson. But I have seen some people theorize that maybe Mox is doing all of this to get Darby ready
maybe
to
I
be
just feel
world
like
champion.
I think I'd be a little disappointed with that angle. To be
Yeah.
honest, I want drama. You know?
I have also seen a theory. I'm not buying it yet, but I do kind of like it. That Danielson has set all of this up. Because Danielson wants Darby to be the one that retires him, but he
Mm.
doesn't think that Darby
That'd
will
be
be
some
ready.
mastermind type
But
shit.
so
though.
he set this up to have Blackpool Combat Club do this to him, so that Darby would, because he knew that he would beat Darby at Grand Slam, and he needs Darby to beat Mox to prove that he's ready. And then if he can beat Mox, he can beat
That's
Danielson.
so complicated.
I don't even think that they're doing that.
I don't
but
think
I do
they are
like that
either,
theory.
but that would be crazy. That would be like I would feel gaslit.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's so complicated. But go ahead.
The only reason why I don't love it is I want to see this version of Mox's group, and that
No,
kind
me
of, like,
too.
end it
I don't
quickly.
want it to be like, oh, how we were just kidding the whole
Right,
time.
Yeah.
That would kill it a little for me.
Yeah.
But back to the question, the other half of the question. Thoughts on running the angle but not showing it online?
I think running the angle was totally fine. I do think it's weird that they didn't show it online. I don't know if it's just
Because all the Swerve Hangman stuff, which we'll get to in a moment,
Yeah.
but that was all online.
Yeah, I do. I
So-
do think, like, if you think it's really far, put a trigger warning on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I think maybe my assumption was like they were trying to sell it as like something like he was really
That's
trying
a
to
good
kill
point.
him.
That's a good point.
Like,
yeah,
so they were like, we don't condone these actions and it's too graphic for,
Yeah.
Television. But maybe then don't put that on the same card as Swerve Hangman.
Right, but also, and then it's like, all right, then maybe in the kayfabe world, suspend Mox.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's a little funky. My assumption is they were trying to sell it
Yeah.
as like
that's a good
like he
point.
was really trying to kill him and like
Yeah.
whatever. That's the only thing I got on that because otherwise it's just I don't get it. It's weird.
I think that there was a lot of outrage for it, and maybe that they just, kind of
They didn't want to
bend it to the outrage.
feed into it.
Yeah. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
We've
Well-
watched wrestling for a long time. Way worse has happened.
I think part of the problem is like people are so used to WWE now that like there are kids watching, and it's like everybody and their mother knows that AEW will do certain spots, go to lengths that WWE will not do because WWE has to be PG, and that's totally fine. They want to target kids as a large section of their audience. AEW's not focused on that in
No.
the way that WWE is. It's an alternative.
And
It's a different type of product. They can do these crazier spots if they want, but it's like it's not AEW's job to cater to your children.
My way that I always think about AEW, and I think the best version of AEW is ECW with a crazy budget.
Yeah.
Because like ECW, they didn't give a fuck
Yeah.
about like what the kids thought, and WWE was always centered around kids at that time too.
Yeah.
And they didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
They were like, no, this isn't. They're like, yeah, bring your kid if your kid's ready for this.
Mhm.
And, if you got a 13-year-old, they probably
Yeah.
think that this is the coolest shit of all time.
Right.
If you bring in a 6-year-old, they might be scarred.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the WWE a little bit more focused on the like 6-year-olds
Yeah.
and stuff. But I like that it was a complete alternative, and
Yeah.
I think that they should completely dive more into that.
I think they should. I loved it.
Yeah.
But like I think there was a lot of outrage in that, like from parents in that regard. And I saw a lot of, parents kind of combat that and be like, if you're worried about like what's going to be on the show, then you need to watch it first. Let your kid watch it later. Buy the pay-per-view,
Yeah.
and then pick and choose what you want your kid to see.
Yeah.
Skip past some of the stuff. Like there was a dad who was like, I watched it. I think he was like, I only let my kid watch. My kid only watched one match out of all of them. I think it was Osprey Pac, I want to say.
Yeah, that doesn't have any.
No, but he was like, this is what I did. Like I let him pick a couple matches he wanted to watch. He wanted this one, so I let him watch this one. But like going into it, like Swerve tweeted, and he was like, it fucking said unsanctioned. Like you knew it was gonna be crazy. Like, and they're just like, I think everybody's just so used to like the way that WWE does things, and that's okay. But you need to understand that AEW is different. You can't expect everybody to kind of fall in line with the way that WWE does things.
I think that another great thing that people should understand is that like AEW is not trying to be WWE, because they're
Right.
always like, well, you're not going to get as many viewers if you do that, and it's like they're not trying to get 7 million
Yeah.
people. That would be great,
Yeah.
but they don't expect 7 million people.
No.
They're not trying to get 7 million people. They're not even trying to get like 1 million people. They're trying to get their fan base to love what they do
Yeah.
and to get that critical acclaim, and those fan bases to be diehard and go, this is for me, and I love what they do because they do it for me. Not just going to the majority and not just trying to cater to whatever is going to get the most clicks.
Yeah.
There's a ton of YouTubers that I watch. I don't check their view count compared to Mr. Beast's view count.
Yeah.
And if every single thing was viewed as, well, you didn't get more views than Mr. Beast,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't care. This is what I like to see, and they
Yeah.
cater towards me.
Yeah. One
think
of my favorite movies of all time is Rush Hour 2. Do you know how many people's favorite movie that is? Probably just me and Chris Tucker. Okay? That's it.
You
Like,
might have liked movies that he's done. better
shut
than
up.
that.
Holes
is the best movie.
It's just like, it just, everybody likes different things.
Yeah.
Like, so it just doesn't, I don't know. I think that's just frustrating when, like, parents are like, how dare you put this on my child? Watch. It's like, it's your job to parent your child.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're worried about, that's something that, like, I said to Sarah Lise when we were talking about the kids, because I was like, do the kids ever watch AEW? And, like, at the time, they were, like, 7. And she was like, a little bit. Like, we'll watch, like, the Wednesday show sometimes. But, like, if she wanted to, like, go to a show or something, like, depending on what it is, and, like, I mean, you can tell in a way, like, what feuds are going to get a little crazy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you can, like, we knew Swerve Hangman was going to be insane.
Yes.
So, like, I could go into that and be like, hey, heads up.
Yes.
This is probably going to get a little crazy. Are you okay with the kids, like, seeing that?
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that. It doesn't have to be, like, so dramatic, but it's up to the parents, like,
Yeah.
in their discretion. It's not up to Tony Khan to be like,
I think it's also interesting that growing up, man, I watched it all. I was watching ECW as like a 3-year-old.
I was watching Criminal Minds at, like, 9.
Yeah.
Like-
so like I don't know. I was watching ECW. I was playing Grand Theft Auto. I was fine. I never thought about like going out and killing
Yeah.
people or stabbing people or
Right.
anything.
No.
I just saw it as entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like, my kid's gonna grow up to be a psychopath, and it's like they're not gonna grow up to be a psychopath because they saw John Moxley do this thing to Bryan Danielson. There's gonna be a lot more steps.
Yeah.
For
There's a
them
lot
to
more in
become,
between those two
a
things.
serial killer
Yeah.
than that. If they're burning animals, then maybe we should
Right.
start.
There's
being
going to be a
concerned.
lot of signs
Yeah.
between now and then.
It's not gonna be this one match that changes them.
No. But speaking of changing people, we can now get to the ending. Swerve Hangman.
Woo!
We saw John Moxley try to suffocate Danielson to death, and I thought that was going to be the craziest moment of the night, and it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't by far,
Uh,
actually. I made a list.
Okay.
I made a list. We had staples, we had tables, we had cinder blocks, we had burned wooden shivs from Swerve's burned down house, and we had a needle.
Yeah.
Outside of the standard like chairs and shit.
And the big chair shot at the end,
Yeah.
which got a lot of talk.
It did. Yeah. People are really upset about the chair shot. People don't like the headshots that AEW
So
does.
I actually was listening to how they gimmick the chair.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they take out the bar, and they basically it's basically like an aluminum, like a baking sheet.
Oh, okay.
So that's what the chair's like, and that's why it makes that crazy sound.
Yeah.
It was basically a baking sheet at that point. So it wasn't like, this violent thing. You could hit someone pretty fucking hard with a baking sheet, and it can make a crazy sound. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna.
No,
kill.
and they're also
You know what I mean?
not going full force with it because they don't have to if it's that easily manipulated.
Yeah, and you're not getting CTE from a baking sheet.
No.
But this match was insane, and I think it had to be.
It did.
This is something that people have criticized WWE for. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre needs to be this level of violence, and I do think that this match needed a crazy level of violence, especially after you go to the Wrestle Dream. I want to say was their Texas Death Match.
I think so.
But I mean, Hangman burned down Swerve's house. That's before the match happens.
Yeah.
That's leading up to it. So something insane had to happen here. They already confined themselves into a cage.
Yeah.
Immediately, you start with them trying to push each other's head so that the cage door shuts on their head.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Nana had to come in and shove them both in the ring.
Nana, yeah.
Yeah.
We get the staples pretty immediate.
They gotta stop that, man. That shit hurts.
The staple.
I can't.
The stapling the child photos.
That was crazy. Yeah.
Is insane. Stop me at any time if you have a moment that was crazy for you
Bitch,
in this
all
match.
of them. I think for me, the moment that made me the first one that made me oh my god, was the cinder block.
The cinder block
and it
was a different level.
It wasn't Hangman.
It was Swerve.
It was when Swerve landed on it because that shit landed right. I couldn't even oh my god, right on his back.
Yeah.
And just I don't. That was a real fucking cinder block.
Yeah.
Swerve not secretly kicked it or moved it or dropped it to show that it was real.
I've seen people also mention that because you mentioned that on the pod.
Yeah.
When it happened, that you were like, I think he did that on purpose to show you it's real.
It's a real cinder block.
And people were like, I think he dropped it and it added more of because WWE's done cinder blocks and they just disintegrate.
Right.
Because it's hollowed out.
Yeah.
This was.
Well,
this didn't disintegrate.
That was honestly my assumption. If I see a cinder
100%.
block in a wrestling match, I'm gonna assume it's a fake one.
Yeah.
And then he picked it up and dropped it over there, which had no point to it. So I was like, he definitely was showing it was real. And I was like, it didn't break.
It didn't break.
That's a real fucking cinder
either
block.
man's back.
You fucking psychos.
Yeah.
Literally insane. I would say that, and then obviously the needle, just because I don't do needles, I can't do it. Still kind of want to know what he injected, what was in the needle.
Yeah.
I guess we don't really know.
A lot of people were just saying that it was nothing.
But it might have been nothing.
I don't know. I don't deal with
but
needles.
Swerve was also tweeting, and he was like, you got to go where nobody else has
They did.
gone before. They
did.
absolutely did. I never expected to see a needle
No.
in a wrestling match. But I think that's something that's really special about Swerve and Hangman, but I do think especially Swerve, is that he is willing to go, where no one has gone before.
Mm-hmm.
He is willing to do things that people have never done before in wrestling, and I think that's one of the things that makes him really special as a wrestler.
He's a true artist.
He truly is. He gives me, that kind of, honestly, it's not the same. I'll preface it with it's not the same. But it gives me a bit of a Bray vibe. In
100%.
that he's very willing to do things that nobody's done before.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same, creatively. Bray
Yeah.
was definitely a genius in the things that he created.
Stories and characters.
It's very
and all
different.
That. Yeah, it's very
but
different.
it reminds me of, I can't think of somebody off the top of my head that's willing to go that far.
Push the boundaries.
Boundaries like that. I guess maybe it's just 'cause the first person when I think
really
push
good comment.
boundaries, I think of Bray. But that's kind of what it reminds me of in that like concept of what he's doing.
And Swerve has talked about how much of an inspiration Bray was, so that makes that makes a ton of sense.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I've never made that connection, but yeah, that's actually a really good connection.
And I think Hangman's just like, I'm fucking down for like whatever we're doing. At this point.
Hangman is really up there for me as in the argument for the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
And he is. Yeah, I think Ospreay's the best wrestler in the world, but like. Hangman
Full
does
package everything,
but Hangman does a lot of different stuff that Ospreay doesn't necessarily go to. Hangman is like, I think that he is the most interesting character in wrestling and has been for the last 5 years. Just his come up in AEW and losing and the depression and the drinking and the friendships and the Dark Order and everything that's happened here and trying to refuse to go heel because he knows what that life was like, and now eventually. What was the one thing that could set him up, and in him not living up to that expectations after winning the title, and the story of his downfall there, and then not living up to that, and then going and getting pushed by Swerve, and you go, he got pushed. He's back to Hangman, and it's like, no, he got pushed
too far.
He got pushed too far. He's different now, and he may be different for the rest of his life.
I think he is really good at growing a character.
He might be the best actor.
Progressing a character. He got those crazy eyes, man.
He's such a good actor. I mean, people were talking about at the end. Yeah. Obviously, Hangman.
I was just gonna say that.
Hangman ends up winning this match after he puts a needle through Swerve's mouth and then does a chair shot that I think. I'll talk about this in a sec. I think panning away. I've seen a lot of criticism towards it. Perfection. I'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
But. Then he obviously wins the match. The referee calls it off because Swerve is at this point people are asking, is he dead? They call the match off, which I'm fine with because people were like, I needed a 1, 2, 3. I didn't need a 1, 2, 3. Swerve's not moving.
It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chairs, tables, needles, staples.
So I think it was a great ending. And then Hangman goes on the ramp and he is feeling vindicated. And then you can see in his eyes that he has been like, I went too far.
Yeah.
And he tries to walk down to see if Swerve's okay.
Yeah.
With his lip quivering.
Yeah.
And then goes back to realize, I've already went too far.
Yeah, it's too late.
And then he lets out that scream that Swerve let out at Wrestle Dream. I think of going, this is the new me. Yeah. I am currently a monster.
Yeah.
And I don't know how Hangman is ever going to go back to Hangman. And obviously we've seen on Dynamite, he's not going back to Hangman anytime soon. Yeah. This is a new version of him that's very, very interesting. He's such a good actor. But I think that the reason why they panned away from the chair shot, a lot of people were like, AEW's production sucks. But I was
because that wasn't on purpose. That they did that.
I was watching Stephen Larson that they believe that it was on purpose, and they were like, it's one of those things like in a horror movie where they don't reveal the killer or something because it makes your mind, or through the entire time they don't show you the killer because everything that you're making up in your mind is worse. Like your imagination can go to places that they can't. Okay. So they're going, because if that chair shot can look bad, it may look aluminum, it may look something like that. It's better to pan away so you don't fully see the chair shot. So you go, how bad did that actually look? Yeah. And you don't know the degree of what that is, and then your imagination can run wild with it.
That's
fair. That almost creates a fear of, oh my God, did that really hurt Swerve? Because you don't know, and that fear of not knowing is worse than the fear of knowing.
I like that a lot, actually.
This match was truly one of the best matches of the year.
Yeah.
This was right up there with their Wrestle Dream match, which was my match of the year last year.
Yeah.
This was crazier than the Texas Death Match.
Oh, this might be this is one of the craziest matches that I have ever seen, easily.
And go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, I have said that, like, SummerSlam is my pay-per-view of the year. I think really just because of, like, the Dom turn. Yeah. Dom choosing Liv, like, that was something that I was waiting for a really long time. Finn turning on Damien was something I waited for a really long time. And I got all my big moments in SummerSlam, so I was really excited about it.
Yeah, you got your moments, you got the results.
Yes, but I think that as a pay-per-view, as a card, I think All Out was probably a better show.
Yeah, so many good matches. I still can't get Revolution out of my mind to say that it's the best pay-per-view of the
You
year.
never will because of Sting. So.
But the Sting moment, we had Ospreay and Takeshi that was so good. We had the Blackpool Combat Club versus FTR match that was so good. There's a lot of stuff that was great. And then Dynasty was really, really good. Okada and Pac is my most underrated match of the year. And then Ospreay, Danielson.
Yeah.
But this might be the most complete show. Nothing was bad. And then there was so much that was amazing.
You know what else was really good about this pay-per-view?
What?
No Jericho.
And there was no Jericho.
It's not a coincidence that this was a 12 out of 10 and there was no Jericho.
Yeah. I wish we would have gotten to see or listen to the press conference with more people in the press conference.
Yeah.
But I do like that he was selling it, being like, we got to go to the hospital. We got to talk to the cops. Everyone's knocked out here.
Yeah.
There's not people to talk.
Yeah. Someone was complaining about it on Twitter, and they're like, why the fuck even have a press conference? You're not going to have any wrestlers. And somebody replied to them, was like, half of them are dead.
Right.
Like, you can't just, have them pop. Like, Danielson gets suffocated, carried out, which, by the way, get the man a stretcher.
Yeah, no, that was crazy.
Carried him. You can't have him just show up at the press conference 50 minutes later like nothing happened.
Yeah. This I mean, when I really think about it, I think objectively, in my opinion, this is probably, that was two oxymorons. I think that this is probably pay-per-view of the year.
I think so.
It was the one that I refused to say on TikTok pay-per-view of the year because I always get comments that are like, you say every pay-per-view is pay-per-view of the year. So I was like, I specifically didn't say that. And then so many people were like, bro, but this is pay-per-view of the year, right? And I was like, of course, the one I don't say.
Of course it is. But no,
yeah.
I agree. I think this was pay-per-view of the year. I will say, though, SummerSlam is right up there with it for me. I think I'm gonna love them both because...
For very different reasons, yeah.
For very different reasons. Yeah. I just think, Dom choosing Liv was good shit. It was so amazing.
And the Finn turn, it's great.
Yes.
Drew ended up winning. I know that match wasn't what everyone wanted, but, Drew winning was a really, really cool moment.
wanted CM Punk to lose in my presence, so that was good.
And the Roman comeback was cool. So.
Oh, that had nothing to do with my decision. But yeah, no, I think this is probably overall card-wise, show-wise, quality, stories, everything, pay-per-view of the year. 12 out of 10 for me. I loved it. I'm super excited for everything coming up with them. When's their next pay-per-view?
Wrestle Dream.
It is Wrestle Dream, right? That's October 12th.
The special show is Grand Slam, which
that's right.
It's still
not a pay-per-view, but it's a big show.
And then it will be
that's
Wrestle Dream
the 25th, and then Wrestle Dream is October 12th. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know the day, so good job.
I'm so visual. I literally remember seeing the commercial of it being October. No, not the commercial. It was behind Darby during the promo where they have it up in the corner, and it said October 12th, and I visually remember that. Yeah. That's the only reason I know it's October 12th.
That's fair.
But yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching all of this. Let us know what you thought of the pay-per-view, your favorite match, your favorite moment. Were you outraged that they did this to Wheeler Yuta and Danielson? But yeah, give us your thoughts, give us your ratings, all that stuff.
I think two things I would like to see from commenters is their
homework.
Their favorite match, because I think that there's a lot of debate on that.
Yeah, it's fair.
And I
match
think
of the night.
I think match of the night, and then if they have a theory about all of there's so many different theories of Danielson and Daniel Garcia and all this stuff.
Yeah, I'd love to hear thoughts on the Mox and everything too, because I can't figure out what I think is happening. Yeah. So I'll hear other theories on that too. Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Follow us, subscribe to us, like the video, all that stuff. And yeah, thank you.
Deuces. Hangman was right.